Ezekiel Elliott has made 2 Pro Bowls and led the NFL in rushing twice in his first 3 years in the league. The Dallas Cowboys running back just landed a massive 6-year, $90 million contract extension and has been on fire since he entered the league in 2016. Elliott has slew of success, which raises the question, who was drafted before Ezekiel Elliott? Today we're going to talk about those who were selected before Elliott and how their careers are going so far.
If you plan on going to any events coming up, make sure you use SeatGeek to purchase your tickets. SeatGeek makes ticket buying easy by giving you a 1 to 10 score and even gives you a view of your seat.
You can use our code JDP at checkout to get $20 off your first purchase. Again, make sure to use SeatGeek when buying tickets and use code JDP at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Let's get right back to the video. Ezekiel Elijah Elliott was born in 1995 in Illinois. Elliott was born into a family of athletes, with both of his parents playing sports in Missouri. His mother ran track and his father was a linebacker on the football team. Elliott attended John Burroughs School, an academically rigorous school in Missouri. Elliott was a 4-sport athlete in high school, playing football, basketball, baseball, and running track. He was the school's running back, where as a junior, he was named St. Louis Post-Dispatch Offensive Player of the Year with 1,802 yards and 34 touchdowns on the ground, as well as adding 401 yards and 6 touchdowns through the air. In his senior year, Elliott finished with a ridiculous 3,061 all-purpose yards and 50 touchdowns. He helped John Burroughs to 3 straight state championship games, but they unfortunately lost all of them. Elliott excelled in track as well, winning 4 state championships in the 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, 110-meter high hurdles, and 300-meter hurdles. He was named Missouri's Gatorade Track Athlete of the Year. Elliott was considered a 4-star recruit and was the 9th best running back in the nation. He was overpowered with pressure to commit to his parents' alma mater, Missouri, but Elliott ultimately decided to pave his own path and committed to Ohio State. Elliott played mainly as a special teams gunner as a freshman at Ohio State. He sat behind current Texans running back Carlos Hyde. Hyde departed for the NFL following the season, and Elliott took over as the starter. Elliott waited no time at all to take over college football, leading Ohio State to the first ever college football playoff, where they defeated Alabama to make the championship, where Elliott was named Offensive MVP with 246 yards and 4 touchdowns in a national championship victory over Oregon. He finished the season with 1,878 yards, the 3rd most in a season by a Buckeye, and 18 touchdowns on the ground. Elliott started the 2015 season on a tear, leading Ohio State to 10 straight victories where he ran for over 100 yards in each game. After suffering a loss to Michigan State to end the streak, Elliott announced he would enter the draft. Elliott played his final collegiate game in a Fiesta Bowl victory over Notre Dame, where he rushed for 149 yards and 4 touchdowns. Elliott was the Big Ten most valuable player. He finished 2nd in career rushing yards at Ohio State with 3,961 and 4th in rushing touchdowns with 43. Elliott was said to be the most complete running back to enter the draft since future Hall of Famer Adrian Peterson, and was projected to be a top 10 pick. Elliott was said to have an elite combination of vision and decisiveness, with the only real knock on him being his heavy workload over the last 2 seasons at Ohio State. Elliott was selected 4th overall in the 2016 NFL Draft by the Cowboys. Elliott beat out veteran running backs Alfred Morris and Darren McFadden to be the starter behind the league's best offensive line. Elliott made his NFL debut in Week 1 against the Giants, where he ran for 51 yards and scored his first career touchdown. Elliott went on a tear to start his rookie campaign after his 9th game. He had already become the 2nd Cowboys rookie running back to surpass 1,000 yards in a season. In Week 16, Elliott broke the Cowboys rookie touchdown record and celebrated by jumping into a Salvation Army red kettle after scoring. Elliott was the league's lead rusher with 1,631 yards and added 15 touchdowns. He dominated along with fellow rookie quarterback Dak Prescott. Elliott was an early favorite for the 2016 Offensive Rookie of the Year, but ultimately lost to Prescott. Elliott made the Pro Bowl, was named first-team All-Pro, and was ranked 7th on the NFL Top 100. The Cowboys made it to the playoffs, where they were beaten in the divisional round by the Packers. Heading into the 2017 season, Elliott was facing a 6-game suspension due to domestic violence accusations on 5 different occasions. He appealed the suspension, and the suspension was put on hold. After the suspension was reinstated by a United States court, he was granted a restraining order starter and was granted to stay by the United States Court of Appeals to delay the suspension once again. After the suspension was reinstated again, Elliott faced the 6-game suspension and spent time training and rehabbing in Mexico. Elliott returned for Week 16, a must-win game for the Cowboys, but they would lose to the Seahawks and miss the playoffs. Elliott finished the season with 983 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. He was ranked 54th on the NFL Top 100 list. He returned to rookie form in the 2018 season, eclipsing 1,000 rushing yards and leading the NFL with a total of 1,434. He also had 6 touchdowns on the ground, and for the first time in his career was regularly used in the passing game, accumulating 567 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air. The Cowboys made the playoffs, where they again lost in the divisional round, this time to the Rams. Elliott made the Pro Bowl and was named second-team All-Pro. The Cowboys picked up the 5th-year option on his contract, but Elliott started holding out of training camp in hopes of a new deal. Elliott was given a 6-year, $90 million contract extension and returned for Week 1. Through the first quarter of the 2019 season, Elliott has accumulated 324 yards and 3 scores on the ground. With the first overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams selected California quarterback Jared Goff. Goff was heavily recruited coming out of high school and had scholarship offers from Boise State, Fresno State, and Washington State before he opted to attend California, where his father, Jared Goff, played collegiate baseball before making it to the MLB. Most notably, passing yards with 3,508. He also had 18 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Goff returned as a starter for the Golden Bears as a sophomore, helping the team to a much improved 5-7 record behind his 3,973 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Goff's best game of the season was a 60-59 victory over Washington State, a game where Goff threw 5 touchdowns and a school record 527 yards. Heading into his junior year at Cal, Goff was projected to be a top quarterback in the 2016 NFL Draft. Goff led Cal to their first winning season since 2011 and to the Armed Forces Bowl, where the Golden Bears defeated Air Force. Goff threw 6 touchdowns and 467 yards in the win. Goff broke the Pac-12 record for passing yards in a season with 4,714 and passing touchdowns in a season with 43. He threw just 13 interceptions on the year and was named first team All Pac-12. Goff set 26 team records in his time at Cal, those including passing yards and passing touchdowns in a career. Goff was projected to be an early first rounder at the draft, not necessarily first overall. He didn't excel in physical drills at the NFL Combine, but impressed during positional drills. At the 2016 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams traded up for the first pick to draft Goff. Goff started his rookie season backing up quarterback Case Keenum. After spending the first 9 games of the year on the bench, Goff started the final 7. He made his NFL debut in a 14-10 loss to the Dolphins, in which he threw for 134 yards. The Rams lost all 7 games Goff appeared in. The season was a rough outing for Goff, who finished the season with 1,089 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Goff looked lost in his rookie season, but that was all to change in 2017 with new head coach Sean McVay. Goff started off his sophomore campaign throwing for over 300 yards for the first time with 306 and a score in a 46-9 blowout over the Colts. Goff helped the Rams clinch the NFC West for the first time since 2003. He made his first Pro Bowl and was ranked 38th on the NFL's Top 100. Goff was named to his second Pro Bowl and threw for 4,688 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions in the Super Bowl. Goff had 229 yards in the game, but threw a costly interception late. The Patriots went on to win 13-3, containing Goff and the Rams offense. The Rams picked up his 5th-year option in the offseason and soon signed Goff to a 4-year, $134 million contract extension. So far in the first half of the 2019 NFL season, Goff has accumulated 1,255 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Second overall, the Philadelphia Eagles took North Dakota State quarterback Carson Wentz. Wentz attended North Dakota State, where he redshirted his first year. That year, the Bisons would go on to win their first football championship subdivision title. Wentz was the team's backup for the 2 following seasons, as North Dakota State won their 2nd and 3rd consecutive FCS titles. Over the 2 years in the backup role, Wentz threw for 353 yards and 3 scores. He finally took over as a starter as a redshirt junior, and in his first start against Iowa State, had 204 yards in a 34-14 win. Wentz led the Bisons to a 15-1 record and to the FCS title game. In the game, Wentz threw for 287 yards, threw a touchdown, had 87 rushing yards, and in the final seconds, ran in a go-ahead score to win the championship 29-27 over Illinois State. He was named the game's most outstanding player. Starting every game, Wentz passed for
3,111 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He also showed ability with his feet, rushing for 642 yards and 6 scores. Returning to North Dakota State as a fifth-year senior, Wentz started the year off strong, and through 6 weeks had accumulated 1,454 yards and 16 touchdowns. But against South Dakota, Wentz broke his wrist and missed the next 8 games. Wentz was cleared to play in the FCS title game, and in the game threw for a touchdown and ran in 2, en route to a 5th consecutive championship, as well as being named Most Outstanding Player. Following his graduation from North Dakota State, Wentz was projected to be a mid-first round pick, but after a successful pro day, was expected to go top 10. Wentz further impressed at the NFL Combine, measuring top 3 among quarterbacks in the 40-yard dash, broad jump, and 3-cone drill. The Eagles traded up and selected Wentz with the 2nd overall pick, making him the highest FCS quarterback taken in draft history. Wentz suffered a rib injury in the preseason, but returned for the regular season. The Eagles planned on sitting Wentz as a rookie, but the team then traded expected starter Sam Bradford to the Vikings and announced Wentz as the starter. In his NFL debut against the Browns, Wentz was named Pepsi NFL Rookie of the Week after passing for 278 yards and 2 scores in the win. Wentz started in every game for the Eagles, who finished with a 7-9 record. Wentz set an NFL record with 379 completions as a rookie. He threw for 3,782 yards, 16 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. In his sophomore season, Wentz went on a tear to begin the year, passing for 1,362 yards, 10 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions through the first 5 weeks. His early success put him in the NFL's most valuable player race. The Eagles were rolling, and Wentz was playing at an MVP level. But in week 14, everything changed. In a 43-35 victory over the Rams, Wentz left with a knee injury, which later turned out to be a torn ACL. Wentz would miss the remainder of the season, finishing with 3,296 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. He made his first Pro Bowl, was 2nd team All-Pro, and was ranked 3rd on the NFL's top 100 list. But the Eagles season wasn't doomed without Wentz. The Eagles' dominant defense and quarterback Nick Foles led the Eagles to the Super Bowl, where they defeated the Patriots 41-33 to win their first franchise Super Bowl. Injuries have been the story of Wentz's career, but he looked to change the script in 2018. After missing the first 2 games of the season due to rehabbing his ACL, Wentz returned as the Eagles starter. But Wentz and the Eagles struggled. Wentz went 5-6 with 3,074 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Due to a back injury, the Eagles shut down Wentz for the year and put in Foles once again, who led the Eagles to the divisional round of the playoffs. Wentz has played in every game through the first quarter of the 2019 season and looks quite good. He has thrown for 963 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions so far. The San Diego Chargers own the 3rd pick, where they selected Ohio State defensive end Joey Bosa. Bosa started in 10 games as a true freshman for Ohio State, recording 44 tackles and 7.5 sacks. He was named a freshman first-team All-American and freshman first-team All-Big Ten. The Buckeyes beat Oregon 42-20 in the national championship. The following year, Bosa dominated, being named a first-team All-American and was the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. He had 55 tackles and 13.5 sacks on the year. After being suspended for the first game of the year for undisclosed reasons as a junior, Bosa finished the season with 47 tackles, 5 sacks, and a pick. His final collegiate game was cut short in the Fiesta Bowl against Notre Dame after Bosa was ejected for a hit he made on quarterback Deshaun Kaiser. The Buckeyes went on to win 44-28. Bosa was a first-team All-American and was named Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year for the 2nd consecutive season. Bosa was projected to be a top 10 pick in the draft, and after an impressive NFL Combine performance, he was selected 3rd overall by the San Diego Chargers. Joey Bosa, who's played in the league and now his brother as well, was the last draft pick unsigned due to contract dispute, and his mother even stated that she had wished they pulled an Eli Manning, referring to when the quarterback was drafted by the Chargers but demanded a trade on draft day. After the Chargers issued a release stating their large signing bonus, Bosa ended the dispute. Bosa missed the first 4 games of his rookie campaign due to a hamstring injury. In his first career NFL game against the Raiders, Bosa had 2 sacks. Playing in just 12 games as a rookie, Bosa accumulated 41 tackles, 10.5 sacks, and a forced fumble. Bosa was named Defensive Rookie of the Year and was ranked 100th on the NFL's top 100 list. Bosa improved on a successful rookie year in 2017, forming one of the best pass rushing duos in the league with teammate Melvin Ingram. Bosa made his first career Pro Bowl and moved up to 37th on the NFL top 100 list. He finished the campaign with 70 tackles, 12.5 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles. During training camp in 2018, Bosa suffered a foot injury that led him to missing the first 9 games of the season. Bosa did eventually return and made 23 tackles and 5.5 sacks on the year. He also made his playoff debut, tallying 2 tackles and a sack in a wild card round loss to the Ravens. Through the first quarter of the 2019 season, Bosa has 20 tackles and 2 sacks for the Chargers. And of course, with the 4th overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys selected Ohio State running back Ezekiel Elliott. With all of Elliott's recent success, it makes you wonder if it would have been the same if he was drafted elsewhere. Elliott has certainly benefited from playing behind one of the best offensive lines in football. However, Elliott has all of the tools of an elite running back. He's a strong physical back who can find holes and make plays regardless of his line in front of him. There's a reason he was said to be the most complete running back since Adrian Peterson, and those tools have helped Elliott become a top running back in the NFL, if not the best. This has been the Players Drafted Before Ezekiel Elliott.